The crew has become stagnant. We're all too happy together, taking group photos, being in each other's packs. It never used to be like this. There used to be order on this show. I don't care if the family dynamic has improved our ratings. I must tear it down for more power. I need more power. What? We're recording? Oh, I was just joking. Welcome to Nerd Central. You can disregard everything you may have thought you just heard for now. We have a great show for you as always, with new installments of Sideburns, B-rated, trash flicks, and a brand new mystery pack, followed by an exciting new segment at the end. Plenty of incentive for you guys to stick around while we kick it to the news. Exciting things may be brewing over at Marvel, as a famous actor from the past Spider-Man film will be reprising his role in the next Spider-Man film. OMG, could it be Tobey Maguire? Are we finally getting a live-action version of the Spider-Verse? Oh, nope, it's Jamie Foxx as Electro. Well, that's legitimately disappointing. But that's not the only Marvel casting news we have, as the actor for Miss Marvel, aka Kamala Khan, has officially been announced to be Iman Vellani. Now that name likely does not ring a bell for many of you, as she is a fairly new actress, but she looks the part, and if there's one thing the MCU knows, it's how to cast. The next few years seem promising for Miss Marvel, as she stole the show in the Avengers game that came out recently and will be obtaining her own series on Disney+. Haha. More like a Disney minus, am I right? Yeah, I should probably leave the insults to Kyle. Speaking of which, Kyle, hit us with those sideburns.
I feel like Captain America is brewing a civil war in this week's episode of Sideburns. Welcome back to Sideburns, the show where insults rule and feelings are hurt. I'm your host, Kyle, and we will be pitting my two favorite superheroes against each other. No, Cody. They're not in the DC universe. Why? Because they suck. Moving on, this week we are going to take a look at the Avengers from 2012, where we begin to see the divergence between Captain America and our favorite genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist. Roll the clip.
Yeah. Big man in a suit of armor. Take that off, what are you? I know guys with none of that worth 10 of you. I've seen the footage. The only thing you really fight for is yourself. You're not the guy to make the sacrifice play.
Captain America just seems to rip into Tony because he's being his typical sarcastic self. While there is a time and a place for sarcasm, fighting Loki may not be the best time when Hawkeye is now his minion. Steve starts taking shots at Tony, saying that he is nothing without his Iron Man suit and isn't the kind of guy that would sacrifice himself, which we find out later simply isn't true. For actual insult, I'll give it a 3. To me, it just seems like as if Steve isn't well versed in the struggles that Tony had to go through in order to get to where he is. Nonetheless, stating someone is worthless without the thing that made them famous is a fair point to make. I mean, without a suit, Tony really is just a genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist. For cleverness, another 3. If Steve did know about Tony's past, then it would have made more sense to try to use it against him. Plus, being called worthless is just a classic insult, and it still hurts if someone were to say it to you. Without delay, let's get on to the next clip.
A hero? Like you? You're a laboratory experiment, Rogers. Everything special about you came out of a bottle.
Well, let's break it down. As a retaliation for being called worthless, Tony just straight up says that Steve is a laboratory experiment, which if we look here, he's not wrong. Captain America was made in a laboratory, and the second part is where Tony says that everything special about you came out of a bottle. It's not something to sneeze at. And can we just admire how he just says bottle? For actual insult, I'll give it a 5. And not only did Tony fire back and call Steve his own version of worthless, but he also says that Steve is only special because of a bottle, which in turn makes him no better than Tony. For cleverness, it's a 4. Tony knew about Steve's past and knew how to use it against him, which is why he says Steve isn't special either. I don't know, Total burnage is clear. Tony Stark takes the cake. His insult is just too good and has a way more bite than Steve's. Tony will be moving on in the Sidat Waterbat Watuba. And that's all I got for this week. Next time, I want to see who wins between Loki and Thor. Coming up next is Paige with B-Rated. Until next time, stay burned. Thanks, Dad.
Hello and welcome back to B-Rated, the segment of our show that reviews the best of the worst in cinema. I'm your host, Paige. If you remember from last week's episode, we were supposed to review Cute Little Buggers. Unfortunately, that review has been canceled. So whenever I tell you not to watch it, I don't mean, haha, don't watch this, it's a bad movie. No, I am telling you, do not watch this. So, with Cute Little Buggers out of the way, I managed to find another movie for us to rip apart. This week's target of my unbridled rage is Reptosaurus, a CGI monster movie with dinosaur-like features based off a comic book. What could possibly go wrong? When a group of friends get stranded on a seemingly deserted island, they soon realize that they're not alone. That's it? That's the whole summary? Viewers on Amazon Prime gave Reptosaurus a 2.6 out of 5 stars, the lowest score we've ever seen on this show. So I thought Spaghetti Man was boring, but this movie literally broke my how much I'd rather do literally anything else meter, or the Murdley for short. But no, I stuck it out and finished the movie, not for myself, not for the accomplishment of defeating such a boring movie. No, I did this for the people, so that they will never have to suffer the way I did. Anyway, the acting was atrocious and the worst I've ever seen. Everyone was just too overdramatic for such lackluster characters. This girl literally cries at the drop of a hat, and it's pretty much all she does in this movie. I mean, look at this clip.
A swing and a miss.
I just can't believe they actually got paid for this. As far as cinematography goes, it was crippled by the overuse of 3 things: close-ups, A/B shots, and a tripod. If you've seen any action movie ever, you know that these things are not used very often. I don't even want to talk about how often the audio peaked.
I said, what are you doing here?
When it comes to the story of the movie, it was just too predictable and had a lot of convenient plot holes that they never talked about, like how they never ran out of bullets, or how a group of college students were able to sneak up on 2 special ops Marines, or how this guy does not look 20. And now it's time to take a closer look at this week's B-movie monster, the Reptosaurus. The Reptosaurus is completely CGI, and before we get a better look at what it can do, you should know that G-Force, Terminator Salvation, and Avatar all came out the same year as Reptosaurus. So now that you know what 2009 CGI is capable of, here's Reptosaurus. It's not too bad. I'm not entirely sure how CGI works, but it looks like they created 6 or 7 actions for the Reptosaurus and just sprinkled them throughout the movie. Not to mention, they showed off that puppy the first chance they got. There was no state of suspense wondering what the whole monster looks like. Overall, this movie definitely earned its B-movie title, but it's not even a good B-movie. It didn't have anything that I absolutely hated, but it also didn't have anything that made me love it. The movie became too predictable and failed to leave its audience in a state of suspense, and thus failed to keep their attention. So when should you watch this movie? If you only have 85 minutes left to live, watch this. It'll make 85 minutes feel like days. This has been my review of Reptosaurus. Tune in to Nerd Central for next week's episode of B-Rated, when we review Attack of the Killer Donuts. Thanks for watching.
Gosh, I don't remember us being in the Colonial War. No wonder the Americans won. We're gonna take a short break, but don't worry, we'll still have plenty of surprises up our sleeves. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Nerd Central, where the only thing I have to say is, Cobra Kai never dies! Yes, not only has the popular TV show and proper 4th installment in the Karate Kid franchise been saved by Netflix from the pits of despair known as YouTube Red, but even before the 3rd season aired, we have confirmation that Cobra Kai will be kicking its way to a 4th season. Kia! What have you people done? You go out and you give Disney all your money to see a movie you already saw over 20 years ago, and then they think that people want more of it. Ugh, a live-action Lion King 2 is in development. Yippee. This is almost guaranteed to end up with Drew on Trashflix, who is up next, followed by, oh no, he gave himself a pack? Crap, followed by Cody with Gotta Go Fast. Take it away, guys.
Hello, and welcome to Trashflix. In this segment, I'll be going over the 2017 movie, Full Metal Alchemist. This movie is an adaptation of the Full Metal Alchemist anime that aired in 2009. It loosely follows the plot of the anime and takes creative liberties where it needs to. This movie was honestly not completely terrible. I'd say it's slightly better than The Last Airbender in terms of overall quality. The movie is essentially a summary of the first season with changes that we'll get into later. There are many problems with this film that make some parts unbearable to watch. Things like bad CG, terrible acting, or just weird changes to the story and dropped plot threads. First, I'll be going over the quality of the effects. The special effects and digital effects in this movie are absolutely terrible. I don't think I've seen a movie with worse effects overall. The character of Alphonse was entirely CG, and every time he was in frame, it looked like someone ripped his model from a video game or something. The movements are also stiff and awkward. Another problem is that the effect they use for transmutation, which is the magic they have in this movie, looked weird and was out of place. The particles looked like they were something you would see from a 2012 tech demo. There were also times characters would clip through things they're holding, and the movement across the screen by characters completely built from CG would look really artificial and strange. One problem with this movie was also the acting overall. It is a Japanese movie, so of course the voices are Japanese and the language is Japanese. And not even being able to speak the language, I can tell that some of the line delivery was on par with Disney Channel original films. The things like hair and costumes also looked really cheesy and cheap. It looked like people always had wet hair or they were wearing a wig. It felt like they were putting all their budget into the CG, which clearly didn't go well anyways. The last major problem I had with the film is the overall pacing and plot changes. For the most part, the story followed the source material well, but sometimes I would wonder why they cut plot points or certain characters. They also left in things that they could have cut, like side plots and unimportant bits of lore that just don't matter to the grand scheme of the story. It just feels like they wanted to keep anything with action and cut out everything that wasn't action. It didn't seem like they had a focus on the story. But an even bigger problem is the overall pacing of the whole movie. Full Metal Alchemist is a long story with tons of characters. It would be hard to fit that into a movie without making it feel unnatural. So it's a given that the film has the worst pacing. 1 minute, the characters are fighting deranged priests, and the other, they're on a train also fighting. Oftentimes it just seems like a jump from fight to fight. So overall, the movie is full of bad special effects, terrible acting, and the worst pacing. But I thought it was at least somewhat watchable. Maybe it'd be good with friends. This was Drew, and thanks for watching Trash Flicks.
I'm Cody Nance, and welcome to the first installment of Gotta Go Fast. I know you were expecting nerd games, but Emma has a little something special brewing for all of us instead, so from this point on, you can expect to hear my beautiful voice. I know what you're thinking. Cody, what is Gotta Go Fast? Well, I'm extremely glad you asked that, stranger. Gotta Go Fast is a new segment where I will rank my favorite speedsters throughout history, whether it be comics, TV, animation, movies. If the character has the ability of super speed, they are fair game for this show. Think your brain can keep up? Well, regardless, we're going to be taking a look at Quicksilver for this installment. Quicksilver's history is a rocky one, as being a Marvel character means that you have many adaptations and timelines to work with, but one thing is always a constant. His name is Pietro Maximoff. Wait, what? His name is Peter in the X-Men movies? So they couldn't even agree on that? Ugh. This is going to get confusing for all the normies out there. So, as Marvel's direct answer to The Flash, who, oh, don't worry, we will get to him. Just not quite yet. Anyway, here are the basics of Quicksilver. There are two major origin stories for the character. He is always either a mutant or an inhuman. Mutants are born with their powers as a genetic, you guessed it, mutation, as his father is Magneto, the master of magnetism. He's kind of a big deal. But in his Inhuman storylines, he is a survivor of a big war thing that led to the explosion of an alien rock that wrapped anyone caught in the blast radius into a big cocoon or whatever, waiting for them to emerge with magical powers. One of Quicksilver's defining traits is his deep love for his sister, the Scarlet Witch, and his silver hair, which the MCU couldn't even get right, of course. Most of the time, Pietro is presented as a self-serious character desperate to prove himself as a competent leader to his daddy. This has always kind of turned me off to the character. I have always thought that it was a waste to give the coolest power of all time to one of the most boring characters in the X-Men comics and the animated series. Even the MCU, where every character is basically a bad stand-up comedian, he just doesn't seem to be having any fun while fighting with the Avengers, and therefore I really felt nothing when his untimely demise arrived in Age of Ultron. So if I don't like Quicksilver being a whiny daddy's boy in the cartoons, and I don't like him being a blank piece of wood in Age of Ultron, then how did Quicksilver end up on the list of my favorite speedsters throughout all of media? Well, I think it's best if we just roll the clip. Yes, Evan Peters' interpretation of Quicksilver in Days of Future Past and Apocalypse is the only reason I have a positive opinion about this character at all. Is it accurate to the comics whatsoever? No, but it's better, so it gets a pass. See, this is what I like about characters with super speed, their ability to display just how fun it is to have the power. Like, look at this man. He's breaking America's most wanted man out of the Pentagon, and he doesn't have a care in the world, because he knows that nobody can even comprehend how fast he's doing the things that he's doing. But unfortunately, Evan Peters is only one of many interpretations of Quicksilver, and all of the other ones kind of suck. And so that is why Quicksilver belongs at the bottom of my list. Come back next week, and I'll tell you about the A-Train.
Thanks, guys. Now we promised you surprises, and we'll tell you what that surprise is right after this break. Got him. Stay tuned.
What is up, you guys? It's Emma, and welcome back to What is happening?
Don't ask me, this is your show.
Okay, let's go. I don't know what's happening.
More than me. Cody, of course I love Nerd Central more than you. I literally don't have to be here. This is not an obligation, it's a choice.
It's not an obligation for me. Every week I choose to burn it from my loins.
Yeah. Cody, I'm the most charismatic person on this show.
You know why? Because I rank you as the most charismatic person that's on this show.
Whatever, frog boy, okay? You look like a frog on your shirt.
Frogs are awesome. You know the poisonous dart frog is like the coolest thing in the world?
You know what's not the coolest thing in the world, Cody?
You.
Wait, I know how we can settle this. Through a series of oddly specific Incredibles-themed physical challenges.
Why?
Excuse me, what?
Why?
No,
Why would we do this?
No, it's a good idea.
Do we look physical to you?
Physical!
Drew's confused. Look at this guy. He's...
It's a good idea.
No,
That's not a good idea. Nobody thinks...
The feud between Cody and I is a very serious matter. He thinks that he loves Nerd Central more than I do, which just simply isn't true.
Oh, I can explain this feud with simple words, okay? Krista is getting too much recognition these days. I'm in here day in, day out, making everything look good behind the scenes, and people just see her on the main screen thinking, oh, look at her, the face of Nerd Central. Haha, look at those funny jokes. I write those jokes. And it's time to take back what's mine, and what's mine is the crown of Nerd Central.
To settle this feud once and for all, Cody and Krista will be dividing our crew into 2 teams to face off in the upcoming challenges.
How do I feel about the feud? Well, I haven't really been here that long, but it seems like this feud has been kind of spurring for a few months now. Like it's just kind of been a ticking time bomb waiting to explode. I mean, you didn't notice it at first, but then, you know, all this stuff just started happening, and I think he just exploded today, or they both did.
I didn't know there was like a feud until 5 minutes ago.
Every week, one member from each team will go head-to-head in some of the most grueling physical tests known to man.
Does anybody else think this is really stupid?
Without a doubt.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Why is this happening?
I don't know. That's a good
Can we
question.
just pick teams already?
This is the dumbest thing I've ever had to do. Why am I even here?
Each challenge consists of 2 parts, and here's what you can look forward to in the upcoming weeks. Week 1 is the Mr. Incredible Challenge, where crew members will find out who can do the most pull-ups and who is the better liar.
Is this rubble?
It was just a little workout.
Week 2, Elastigirl puts us to the test when we discover who is the most flexible and who can kill it on a motorcycle. Or, in our case, a scooter.
Settle down, are you kidding? I'm at the top of my game. I'm right up there with the big dogs. Girls, come on. Leave the saving of the world to the men? I don't think so. I don't think so.
Week 3, Violet makes an appearance, while we test everyone's ability to manipulate a force field and hide in plain sight.
That's it!
Stop! Stop!
We're gonna be toast!
Stop running in the house! No!
Hey, no force field!
Week 4 is the Dash Challenge to determine who is the fastest person on Nerd Central. And maybe who has the ability to run on water.
Think they're supers?
Dash, remember what Mom said.
Hey, stop talking. Hold it, freeze!
Dash, run! What? Run! Yeah.
Week 5, we tap in to Jack Jack's powers and see who can eat the most cookies and who is the best with a laser. Well, a laser pointer. I'm on a budget, okay?
Oh my God.
And week 6 will be Frozone. Who can drink a slushie the fastest and who can put on a Frozen t-shirt first.
Honey!
What?
Where's my super suit?
What?
Where is my super suit?
And in the grand finale, all powers will be tested. So, stay tuned.
I'm most looking forward to the lying challenge because I'm an actress, and if I can't lie on camera, then what am I even doing?
I am looking forward to the Dash Challenge because that requires going fast, which you can see in my new pack. Gotta go fast.
I'm most looking forward to the challenge that doesn't involve any physical movement.
That's me. For my team, I would like to have Emma.
All right, that's not a bad choice, Krista.
Thank you.
But I have one better because I'm going with Kyle.
That leaves me with a really tough choice, Cody. We have 2 really good competitors left, but I think I'm gonna have to go with Drew. You're my dude.
Well, that's okay because I wanted Paige anyway.
Fair enough.
Who do I think will win the games? Definitely Krista.
I will. I'm going to win these games. It's obvious that I'm going to win these games because, well, I'm the boss. I am the big boss.
I feel like I'm gonna win this feud, you know? I think people are on my side and people support me. I think Cody is wrong in his belief that he loves Nerd Central more than I do, but I truly feel like it's gonna be what tells us all who the true lover of Nerd Central is.
Who do I think will win the games? I think we're all gonna lose.
like everybody, like all of the participants, everybody, because we're all gonna look like big idiots on TV, on YouTube. My mom's watching this. Hi, Mom. I think we're all gonna lose.
Are you ready to find out who the strongest, fastest, and most flexible person on Nerd Central is? Who can eat the most cookies or finish a slushie first? Well, get ready for the ultimate showdown.